Check, check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear me loud and clear? Get a quick audio test. Happy Monday, everybody. Room just a little bit of time to fill in. I know the stream wasn't posted, so give a little bit of time here. And we'll get through a market review. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day. Coach Paul is going to be out for the day. Thanks, Coach Hoop. Let's get into markets. Welcome to At the Buzzer. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Courtney. Welcome to At the Buzzer, our market recap. If this is your first time here, the goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity. We want to see how we can take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. This is our first time meeting. I'm Coach Jay. I've been a Topstep performance coach since June of 2023. Coach Paul's normally here with me, but he is going to be out today. Hopefully, everybody's having a good start to your short trading week. As far as news goes today, wasn't a whole lot. Wasn't a whole lot on the calendar. We are supposed to be getting some data tomorrow. We are supposed to be getting that GDP number, durable goods. PCE is questionable. I think I've seen that PCE number move at least twice. So I'll believe the PCE number when we get it, but I do see it on some calendars for tomorrow as well. Industrial production. So shortened holiday week, but some numbers to look out for sure. Slow markets tomorrow. I would not be on slow markets tomorrow. I'll be on slow markets tonight with Dakota, but not tomorrow. Take a look then at the quote board. We had a bunch of different markets moving today. 36 markets you can trade with Topstep accounts, and today to the downside, not a whole lot to the downside. We had the ultra bonds down 0.13%. We had copper down 0.21%, and micro Ethereum, our biggest percentage mover to the downside, down 0.37%. So everybody's looking for a Santa rally. You could have found a market and bought it today. So we had to the upside, we had silver making a new all-time high, up 2.13%. Crude oil up 2.46%, and platinum, our biggest percentage mover to the upside, up 5.87%. To talk about our big, we'll call it a big four now. Natural gas is kind of falling off my radar here, but to talk about our big four, we got the S&P up 0.64%. Gold made a new all-time high as well, up 2.09%. The NASDAQ up 0.49%, and we talked about crude oil up 2.44% on the day. All right, let's take a look and let me know in the chat how your day went. Were you up in the day, down in the day? Anything that you learned from the day? Take a look at a couple of different charts here. The NASDAQ was pretty quiet. NASDAQ was a pretty quiet day. If you were watching the opening call, Coach Vince and I talked about, kind of what we expected from the NASDAQ today, and it did exactly that. We have this slower holiday week, low volume. See, the volume on the day was below the average. Average volume in the NASDAQ, 477,000 contracts. Today we had 358,000 trade. We held the October 10th high at the low of the day. We kind of opened up there. We did come and check this low during the New York session, but a very range-bound day, right? This 25,800 area has been somewhat of a resistance. You can see a lot of wicks around that area, and it was close to the resistance today. We didn't get exactly up there. This is a pretty small range day, and kind of what's to be expected in the equities, especially when couple of things. You have the energy, the metal markets running the way they did, and slow holiday week with some data coming out, right? Not surprised to see the NASDAQ this way. The Russell and the Dow did present some clean trade opportunities, but the NASDAQ pretty range bound here. Green day, 2 trades, 1 scratch. Nice, Courtney. Added to that NQ, closed out green. Looking to get NQ into slow markets. Nice. Let's take a look at the 30-minute here. Not a whole lot to talk about, to be honest. We know we held that low, which was that October 10th candle high. If we look at a VWAP, it was pretty much a flat line the entire day. This type of price action in the NASDAQ reminds me to stay out of choppy markets, especially choppy holiday markets. If you're going to trade the range, you can trade the range. But at one point, we had 20-point 30-minute candles in the NASDAQ in the middle of the day. I don't know about you guys, but to me, it's hard to trade a 20-point range in the NASDAQ, right? If they're and especially for 30 minutes, right? If we're talking about 20-point 3-minute ranges, 5-minute ranges, different story. But a 20-point 30-minute range, in my opinion, it's kind of hard to get something out of that. But Coach Ray agrees, right? Yeah, that's a pretty tight range there. So that's really it on the NASDAQ. We will see. I don't believe that will be this consolidated for the rest of the week. Again, we have a ton of data coming out tomorrow that could give us some volatility. And we did kind of open up with a gap up. So the NASDAQ was already, sitting on this gap up here, which maybe that's why we didn't get that much of an extended range. We'll see. In order for us to continue higher, going to need to see some volume above 25,800s. We looked up there, price rejected right away. This could very easily just fall right back into the range, back down to 25,300s, maybe even 25,000s if there's no buying stepping up here, but we will see what the data brings us tomorrow. Take a quick look at the S&P. Different story here, different story across the other equity markets, right? The S&P, for whatever reason, the NASDAQ, for whatever reason, was very stuck in that range. The S&P tried to trade higher. We didn't even trade the high of that October 10th candle, right? 68.63 is that price. We closed above it Friday and looks a lot stronger here. We have the S&P under 1.25% off the all-time high. So different trade there today. I'm going to quickly run through the equity markets here. The Russell was probably the most interesting out of the four. We look at the Russell on a daily. We made that new all-time high last week. 26.2430 is that high. We are about 2% off of that here. And again, to me, the Russell was probably the cleanest equity market to trade today. We have last night's open. Pretty nice 30-minute range there. And it took a little while for volume to leave that range, but once we did for the New York session, you hear Coach Paul talk about this a lot as well. If I'm trading equity markets overnight, the Russell's probably not the one I'm going to trade just because it moves a lot more during the New York session. So let's just look at regular trading hours here. We have 3-minute opening range. Volume leaves that range to the upside, and that was the trend for pretty much the rest of the day. We did get a little extended up here from VWAP. Dolby had a nice house account trade on a pullback to this 2580 area. Shout out to Diamond Hands George with the call for the initial balance high. Right, that first hour of trade, 2583 was that initial balance high in the Russell. Got a little bit of a pullback to it. So, even if you don't catch this initial move, are there trades later in the day that you could take? Absolutely. Right, you need some kind of context to trade off of, but that a market that's moving to the upside, get a little bit of a pullback into a level that it clearly held. Nice trade. Now, the thing is, we're kind of late to the day on this trade here that Dolby took. So if you're looking for, this huge move, you didn't get it, right? And the market comes right back down. But a nice day in the Russell today. Yeah, that platinum move is insane. We'll take a look at the metals in just a second here, but that platinum move was absolutely insane. And then the Dow, kind of a different story in the Dow. This is a huge opening range in the Dow. If I'm looking at a 3-minute, maybe I could go down to a 1-minute, but I think even then, yeah, that's a big opening range in the Dow. I don't know what happened with the Dow. We see this a lot, actually. The Dow has these, it's like the first to jump out of the gate, 0.2% move to the upside on the first minute. And that was most of the range for the day, right? That first couple of minutes there in the Dow, but a decent trade there as well. We're above the 200 moving average on the 30-minute, I believe, in all of the equity markets. Yeah. So we are trying to trade higher. Some markets are just doing a better job than others. The Dow and the Russell here, those all-time highs. On that note, time to go feed my cattle. Yeah, the Russell was cooking today. I don't know. And a lot of times we'll see that, right? We'll see where the Russell may be the market that's moving, while the NASDAQ and the S&P are stuck in a range. And, if you're comfortable trading multiple markets, you could just switch over there and say, hey, you know what? This is a cleaner trade. I'm going to go over here. We saw Dolby do that today, made about $300 trading the Russell. And again, kind of late to the move, but still a decent trade there. Let's switch over to the metals. The metals were clearly the story today. We had all-time highs in gold, all-time highs in silver. Platinum, I believe platinum is at an all-time high. It's definitely at highs of the year. I think we're close to an all-time high. I'm going to pull up another chart on the side here just to check how close we are in platinum to that all-time high. I know we got to be getting close. It's going to drift higher. Sellers miss their big chance. Yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. That's kind of what it feels like, that the equity markets are just going to drift higher. Again, we do have that data out tomorrow, so that data could change that up a little bit. But slow holiday week, not a full trading week. I would not be surprised if we just kind of float around here. Okay, so I'm looking at a chart on TradingView here, and I have a platinum high at, one second, I'll give you guys this price. This is back in 2008. Oh, 2008. Yeah, 2008, I have a platinum high of 2308.80. 2308.80. And these are that is not a back adjusted chart. Right, 2308.80 in the with the back adjusted chart, that would be somewhere closer to 2600. 2640.20. Last holiday week, Turkey Day, yeah, Thanksgiving week was a slow grind up, right? Slow grind up. Now, does that have to happen here? It doesn't, but that's kind of what I'm expecting. But really, my expectations are, if I don't get a trade early, try not to force anything later in the day, especially if it's not clean. Let's take a look here at the metals. We got gold making a new all-time high. 44.79.30 is that new all-time high in gold. New all-time high close as well, where it closed pretty much on its highs, which is good to see. And just a reminder, right? We had a 60-day from the time we made an all-time high. It's been how many trading days? It has been 63 calendar days, 45 trading days since we made an all-time high. The last time we saw this type of consolidation in gold, the consolidation was a lot more, right? It took us 134 calendar days, 96 trading days, so about double the time the last time. That led to a 20% rally in the market. Not saying that this is going to lead to a 20% rally. Took half the time. Maybe we get half the rally, before the next consolidation. That puts us right around that 5,000 level. It's about a 12% move from where we are right now. That's a lot of speculation, right? But what I am saying is that as gold is showing that it's breaking out now, that prior all-time high was 44.3690 on this contract. It's not a market that I'm looking to short right away, right? I am, I don't want to be the first person to say that this run is over, especially if it's just getting started. Huge move in gold today, and the way that this candle printed is extremely bullish, right? Barely a wick on either side. It opened up and buying ever since, right? Buying off the open, and just a strong rally. We'll talk about silver in just a little bit. I'm going to go through all the metal markets, but gold, what I might be looking for is a little bit of a pullback, right? We have this huge daily range. Do I want to keep buying the highs? It kind of worked today. We'll see when we get to a shorter time frame that there were some pullbacks in this market. But looking at 50% of today's range, 44.2360, or this prior all-time high here, 44.3690. If we get a pullback into that area, maybe looking for opportunities to buy there. But we'll see what the market says. Again, if we look at last night's open, this was an urgency trade. You're wondering what I'm saying when I'm saying that is we look at the open, and right off the bat, we have VWAP and price leaving that range, and that ended up being the trend for the rest of the day. By the time the volume comes in for the Asia session, we were already up about 0.5%, I believe, maybe 0.25%. Yeah, we're up about 0.25% by the time that volume came in for the Asia session, and they just agreed, right? Just continue to buy it. Really, not even a test of VWAP for the day, just a grind up day. There were some opportunities maybe to take a short if you were looking for one, but that's just it's a tough trade to take. If you look at a chart like this, this is a 30-minute. These are the 12-point pullback, 13-point pullback. They happen, right? But are you taking the short? And if you're a reversion trader, gold's actually making new highs as we speak. If you're a reversion trader, new all-time highs in gold. Maybe you take these, but if you're going to take a short, in a market that's doing this and it's breakout, it's one directional, you have to have reasonable expectations. I know a lot of people know how gold made all-time highs earlier this year. We're making all-time high and sell off $80. If I'm going in with that expectation, it could happen. But uh, you know, if I'm foregoing a 14-point trade here to look for 80 and then the market turns around, hopefully I know where my stop is and my risk is managed because this market is just grinding up to the upside. New all-time highs in gold here, 44.8240. Again, this closing on this high is extremely bullish in my opinion. You know, and the gold market has been settled for 3 hours now, but we're still seeing volume come in. We're still seeing some buying coming in. That is extremely bullish. Uh, Obviously, 4,500, big fat round number right above us. You know, we've seen the gold daily ATR trade, not to take lightly, right? Yeah, this is we've seen the gold daily ATR at one point this year above $100. That was when we saw some of the selling coming in, but you know, on that rally, we're right back, right? Gold daily ATR is 74 points. Today was double that, but yeah, this move may just be getting started here. We will see. Tonight is going to be interesting for sure. I'm excited to trade on slow markets with Dakota. I told my uncle to sell half his gold and silver last night. I mean, depends where he was in from, right? Depends where the entry is on that trade. Could be nice, but we'll see. Just half. You told him to sell half, which is, I guess, it's not that bad. Maybe he could buy you something for Christmas. Let's take a look at silver here. 69,525, new all-time high in silver. Stopped right below that $70 level. Opinions on silver. This is just another market that is continuing to grind to the upside. Silver more recently has had, you know, you can see some of these daily candles, right? These are aggressive sell-offs in these daily candles. This is not a small move, right? That's a 6%. I'm looking at just the red day, 6% high to low day where the market closed. I believe it was down, yeah, down about 3%. So there's a lot more overlap. You even say that because there's a lot of overlapping in. Here's what I want to say about silver: wide ranges, but a lot of overlap. Right. So buying at the highs in silver can be a pretty scary trade, right? Because of these pullbacks that we see. But if you're looking at a pullback, maybe you take out a prior day's low. Because one thing this market has done is it'll take out a prior day's low, but it's not closing below that, right? So, you know, Dakota looking for a 3-bar reversal. We're not getting a 3-bar reversal on the daily. We are seeing some heavy sell pressure come in, usually after making an all-time high. This is kind of what gold did earlier this year, right? We make an all-time high, we see a little bit of a pullback, but then we continue that rally. As long as we continue to hold prior day lows in silver, I'm looking for more upside, right? I don't see a reason to sell this market. Similar to gold, it wasn't as urgent as gold was, but very similar price action today. I think what we've been seeing is a lot more consolidation when we make that all-time high. Sometimes we'll have a 2% down day, 3% down day on the way up. But another one, volume comes in for the Asia session and it just pushes this market higher into all-time highs. By the time we get it for the New York session is a lot of consolidation. So maybe a better overnight trade or Asia session, Globex session trade. We've seen Dakota trade it. Shout out to Baron, who had a really nice silver trade last night as well. I think that has been the time to kind of look at the metal markets. And, you know, every once in a while, you may get a trend that continues through the New York session, but it's been a really nice overnight trade. I know what I'll be looking at tonight. You could trade the micros in silver. SIL is that contract, $5 a tick instead of $25 for the big contract. Because again, that can be a pretty expensive market to trade. So a question about micro platinum. We do not have micro platinum contracts with Topstep, but I think platinum is $5 a tick if I'm not mistaken. No, it's $10. It's $10. So that can be pretty expensive as well when it's moving 6%. My current mindset is trying to get a short into New York at reopen. We'll see if that shifts. Yeah, we will see. We will see. You know, the NASDAQ's kind of just stuck in this range today. Stuck in a range. Any questions on the metals? I'm curious out there who's trading the metals. Again, we're seeing the metals be the trend. I think that whole sector is trying to take the MVP trophy for 2025. Right, we had new all-time highs in all of the metal markets, or besides platinum. Sorry, platinum still has some room to go, but silver, I think we saw all-time high in copper this year. Gold, just continuing to grind higher. Here's platinum, another one where it shows us that Globex session is a good time to trade these markets. And we're not just cherry picking Nick's example. That's kind of been the case. I think Dakota, even during slow markets, is focusing more on the metals than the equities, just because the equities are just kind of quiet, right? They're stuck in a range on a higher time frame, where the metals are moving, and I think this is a case of follow where the money's going. Right? As a trader, we say it all the time. Our job is to identify opportunity and take advantage of those opportunities. If everyone else is, all the traders, all the money in the world is going to go trade the metal markets, and the market I default to every day is stuck in a range, and we're fighting for scraps, you may find an easier trade going somewhere else. Now, you have to have a process in order to trade that. It's not just a blind buy the metals just because they're going up, because especially in silver, you could blind buy this if you want to, but if you're in a bad trade location, your account might be gone, and then you're going to blame the markets, right? You still have to have a process for trading it, but that is where the money is moving for sure. Coach Ray, I agree. The news tomorrow could shake things up, or should shake things up for sure. We got a ton of news. I'll go back to that calendar. GDP, durable goods, supposed to be getting PCE as well, industrial production, consumer confidence. So there are a ton of numbers out tomorrow. And then we got the holiday and jobless claims is Wednesday? Jobless claims on Wednesday. I do believe Wednesday is a half day. Heather, I appreciate it. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. We appreciate you all being here. All right. Any other questions on the metals? Let me read through some of these comments really quick. I think gold will reverse from 4,500. I mean, I think it's a smart level to look at. It's right above where we are right now, less than 0.5% away, 4,500. I don't doubt that there will be some type of reaction there. Now, is it sell it at 4,500 because it's going to turn around? Do you wait for a reversal pattern up there? Or could it just continue to push right through, right? But 4,500 is major psychological level. Anyone who's trading gold is going to be aware of it. It'll be an all-time high when we trade it. Is there enough volume to continue to push us there? We'll take a look at option activity there. Great point, Coach Ray. Great point, right? What are the options dealers doing around this $4,500 level? Because again, the entire trading world who's trading gold is going to be aware that gold trades 4,500, and then if and when we get there, 5,000s, which could have a pretty nice reaction for a day trade. Copper about to be back on the menu. Let's take a look at copper. After that 25% down day in copper, I'm going to let them have this one, but and that could happen anywhere, but yeah, we're almost through. We're more than halfway through this candle. That was the copper tariff day. Let's see, is it going to catch up to everything else? Look at all the other metal markets, right? They're in a trend right now. Copper's the one that is still kind of stuck in the mud. Could be a really nice move. Do we see copper trading up to $10? That'd be a 100% move from where we are right now almost, but if it catches on to the trend that the other metal markets are in, that could be a pretty nice trade there as well. Gold is continuing to make new all-time highs. It's insane. In the last 3-minute candle, we made a new all-time high in gold, 44.8450. 44.8450 new all-time high in gold. This is going to be a great market to trade, I believe, for the Asia session tonight. So keep your eyes on gold. Let's go through the energies really quick. Crude oil found a low. This is a great swing trading market. I don't know how many traders we have day trading crude right now. It's been kind of difficult, in my opinion. We did have another one, though, that it opened up. And to me, if I'm trading crude right now, I would be leaning bullish just because we looked under that 55 level. This is a market that's been pretty range bound. I'd be bullish up to $60. Now, Anything we say here is for educational purposes only, not trading or investment advice. Just because I'm saying I'm bullish up to 60 doesn't mean I can blind buy this market either, right? Because where does your risk go? And does the market agree with that idea? But we're above the 200 moving average on the 30-minute. We are, and if you look at last night, decent spike on the open. But Coach Paul says it all the time, right? If we start to look at oil from the eyes of the London session, right, where we see that volume really pick up. Another one where I think this is the best time to trade crude, especially if you're going to try to catch the trend for the day. By the time we've gotten to the New York session, crude oil is done. We get there during the opening call, and we're looking at opening range trades because crude oil opens up at 9 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Central. By the time we get there, it's usually the move is done for the day. So I think if you're going to trade crude, if you trade, different hours, it's been a nice trade if you look at the London session open, which is 3 a.m. Eastern time, and maybe getting in a trade from there. But outside of that, I think it's a difficult London where it's at for crude. Yeah, it's a difficult market to trade in the New York session. Because even if it does move, there's really not a trend from what we're seeing, right? It's a lot of chop. And that's not just today. That's look at this. What is this? How do you trade this? Unless you identify the range and you're scalping the range. But a lot cleaner price action during the London session. Here's a cool movie to look up called Margin Call. It's a great movie. I don't know how many times I've watched that movie, but it's a lot. It is a lot. Let's take a look at natural gas. Another one. It's been pretty warm. It's been pretty warm here in Jersey. I know we were talking about the coming into winter. Winter just started a couple days ago. Winter just started. Just taking over the chat. Winter just started yesterday, right? So it really has not been cold, and I don't know all the fundamentals of that natural gas trade, but from a technical perspective, we can see really nice sell. Is it setting up for a reversal? That's the question, right? So we looked into this gap, actually tested into 50% of that gap. Interesting. I like this rejection down here. Failure from sellers. Take a look. What is that white line? That is the 200 moving average on the 30-minute chart. Interesting. Okay. I haven't been really looking at natural gas over the past couple of days. I was buying it on that rally. But on this sell-off, I haven't really traded it much. But if we start to see some volume above this 200 moving average, which is a flat line right now, which is okay, right? We just had, a 30% sell-off in this market. So this 200 moving average flattening out should be a welcome sign to buyers, in my opinion, because that means the selling for now has slowed down. But it's right at the top of the range today, or right at the close. We start to see some volume above it. Something here. Yeah, if we start to see some volume above this 200 moving average, I could get bullish natural gas again. It is going to get cold eventually, right? Going to get cold eventually, and then maybe we see another rally here. But nice sell-off today, right? If we look at the market that we had today, another one where I'm just going to look at the volume. Look at the volume here, right? Does it make sense to really look at natural gas in the overnight session? That's up to you to decide as a trader, but could it move in the overnight session? It could, but it kind of feels random, right? When does the volume pick up consistently every day? Right around that 7 a.m. Eastern time. And if I'm looking at that as my trade instead of, trying to figure out this, because again, to me, this feels like randomness. It could go up, it could go down. Really no urgency in the overnight trade. If there was urgency in the overnight trade, different story. But we had a flat overnight range. If by the second or third 30-minute candle, I'm really not seeing anything, I'm probably going to ignore everything that happens before I know there's somewhat of a guarantee that market volume is going to come into the market. If I look at the market that way, and this is the open, when we see that volume spike start to pick up, then this is a one-directional trade, and then we do get that urgency, right? Volume moves the market, and then we do get it. It is cold somewhere in the world, right? But I think he says it all the time. Time of day is a level, right? If I try to make sense of all of these markets at any given time of the day, I could convince myself to take a trade. But what we want to try to do is put the odds in our favor. And in my opinion, you do that by trading when everybody else is trading it, right? If you're trading against yourself in this natural gas market, maybe you have enough, a big enough account where you can move it around. But if you can't, then you're at the mercy of really low volume and randomness, in my opinion. Uh, Natural gas could be an interesting one for sure. Nice rally here. I want to see some candle closes above this high volume, which we got a couple already. Look how thin these 30-minute candles are to the upside. It's not very convincing. That looks like short covering. That doesn't look like convinced buying, especially up at these highs. But we will see if this area holds. Right below that $4 level could be an interesting trade here for sure. And I think that is it. I think that's it. Unless you guys do have any questions. And we do have a ton of data out tomorrow. Micro Bitcoin is still trying to figure out what to do with this this J Trade daily candle that we had. We had a nice little rally from it before, but the market is attracted to these prices, staying below 90,000 for now. 85,000 is a nice support down here, but this is a pretty indecisive candle here. Look at the daily 20-day moving average. It's still a resistance. So Bitcoin needs some buyers. Bitcoin needs some buyers for sure. Pretty flat day in Bitcoin today, up 0.58% on the day. But going to need to see some buying above 90,000 for that next push. All right. I think that is it for me. Unless you guys do have any questions, let me know. Wrap it up early. I actually got to go get a haircut. Make sure I don't miss my appointment. So I'm going to go do that. And I will see you all for slow markets. Make sure you join our coaches in Discord. Coach Hoop is doing a class in Discord, 6 p.m. Central Time. See Coach Ray in the chat. He will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. These are Eastern times. 7 p.m. Eastern for Coach Ray, 6 p.m. Eastern for Coach Hoop. Coach Vince at 8 p.m. and then Dakota for slow markets tonight at 8:30 Eastern. Aaron with the London trade tomorrow morning. D with the Euro. Aaron with the London Open. D with the Euro trade. All tomorrow morning, and then we'll be back for the opening call. Again, the full trading weeks are over. It's the holiday week. Don't do anything crazy this week. Don't ruin, your Christmas or whatever holiday you celebrate. Trying to squeeze money out of markets that are not moving. There's going to be more than enough opportunity. If you want to scan and find other opportunities because your market is not moving around, maybe do that in a practice account in a combine where it's lower stakes. But trade well, trade smart. See you all tomorrow. Like Coach Ray just said, hit that thumbs up button on the way out. We appreciate you all being here. See you soon.